What do you think would happen to the Jews in this country if Obama gets another term?
I'm really concerned because we've seen his policies. We've seen his policies against the state of Israel. They are extremely dangerous. We've seen him supporting uprising against Hosni Mubarak, who was one of the strongest supporters of both the United States and the state of Israel. And Barack Obama simply undermined Hosni Mubarak. He stuck a knife in his back. But on the other hand, when there was uprising against Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in Iran, he did not do anything. He just sat on his hands. And one would wonder, what is he doing? What is the end game here? He was not very forceful with going after Bashir Assad. And we know that his father, Hafiz al-Assad, was working for the longest time with both the Soviet Union and was working with Iran, and Bashir Assad himself has been guilty of murder of thousands of people in Syria, but
Obama has not intervened to save these people.
No, he didn't. But yet he was very forceful in seeing our greatest ally in the Middle East, Hosni Mubarak, being removed from power and imprisoned. So it is a concern. Just recently, it's interesting that when we had a case in Georgia, and it's interesting, the judge in the case happened to be Iranian Muslim. We brought 7 witnesses. I had a witness who was a senior deportation officer from the Department of Homeland Security who testified under oath that with papers like Obama's, if it would have been anybody else, he would be seeking a warrant for his arrest and deportation. I brought a licensed investigator who stated forcefully that Obama is using a fraudulent Social Security number, stolen Social Security number. I had a computer expert stating that what Obama posted online, it's a clear forgery. The man is a criminal. He does not have one single valid piece of paper. And in spite of that, this judge wrote in his ruling that all 7 witnesses were not convincing enough, while Barack Obama presented absolutely nothing. And according to Georgia law, the burden was on him to show that he is eligible. And it's interesting that right after that ruling, by this judge who happens to be Iranian, Barack Obama announced that in order to save some money for our treasury, he is proposing up to 70% reduction in our nuclear warheads from something like 1,330 warheads to between 300 to 400 warheads, which would put us far behind Russia and pretty much close to Iran.
The family escaped from Russia.
Yes. And
is Russia our friend now?
I don't know. I am concerned because we have yet again a totalitarian regime there. There are a lot of questions in regards to the latest election of Putin. It is worrisome why Barack Obama announced that he would like to have a unilateral reduction of our nuclear warheads. So there is a serious problem, and I continue fighting to have him exposed and prosecuted. As a matter of fact, he has been exposed already. Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Arizona has already confirmed all of my findings. He held several press conferences, and he confirmed that indeed Barack Obama is using a computer-generated forgery as claiming it's a true and correct copy of his original birth certificate. We've seen enormous level of corruption in the government of the state of Hawaii. I flew there 5 times. I've been in court time and again. and they're just insulting the intelligence of each and every American citizen by saying that they're refusing to show the original birth certificate that they claim they have because it's violation of Obama's privacy. What privacy? He posted what he claims to be a copy online. So what privacy are they talking about? It's corruption. The Director of Health, Loretta Fari, the Registrar, Alvin Anaka, the Deputy Attorney General, Jill Nagamini, they all know that the man is a criminal, that he belongs in prison, that it's a clear forgery, and they are not cooperating, and they're refusing to show Sheriff Arpaio or me in court the original book of records and original microfilm because they know that it's all a fraud and a forgery. The same thing is going on with selective service certificate. Recently, Sheriff Arpaio subpoenaed the original application, and the selective service claimed that it was destroyed in 1980. What exactly did they destroy? There was nothing there, and he showed that selective service certificate that Obama is using is a clear forgery. All of the certificates from 1980 had a 4-digit year. He had only 2-digit, 80, because he used an inverted stamp from 2008. I have a case in Mississippi currently, and after Sheriff Arpaio stated that all of Obama's papers are forged, I added several causes of action for RICO, racketeering, stating that the predicate crimes here are the crimes of forgery, uttering of forged documents, elections fraud, social security fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, and hopefully we'll be able to have him prosecuted in a civil RICO case, civil racketeering case. We already had discovery scheduled, and as a matter of fact, I subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton to appear at depositions. Also, a director and producer of a documentary, We Will Not Be Silenced, director Gigi Gaston and producer Bettina Viviana, who stated that during 2008 election, a number of individuals wanted to challenge Barack Obama during the Democratic National Convention. Among them was the chair of the Arkansas Democratic Party, Mr. Gwatney, and he was assassinated just a few days before the convention, and everything was just covered up. And according to the producer Bettina Viviana, Bill and Hillary Clinton were planning to come forward and challenge Obama, and according to her, they were threatened, and Chelsea Clinton was threatened. So I already had them scheduled for depositions, and a federal judge in Mississippi stayed the discovery. So we had to postpone the depositions. I already had an airplane ticket for a witness who worked for the governor, in the government of the state of Hawaii, who stated that in his official capacity, he checked Barack Obama's records and hospital records that showed that there is no hospital birth certificate in any hospital in the state of Hawaii. It's all a fraud. And there are a number of people who are involved and will need to be prosecuted. Among them is Brian Schatz, who was at a time the chairman of the Democratic Party of Hawaii, Nancy Pelosi, who was the chairwoman of the Democratic National Convention, who during the convention signed altered certificates of candidate. Before and after that, the certificates of candidate stated that the candidate is eligible according to the U.S. Constitution. Ms. Pelosi has signed altered, falsified certificates of candidate, where she removed the words eligible according to the Constitution in 49 out of 50 states. The only state that received a correct certification was the state of Hawaii, because apparently they weren't willing to certify Barack Obama. However, Brian Schatz has signed an altered Hawaiian certification. He wanted to take the rap for Obama, but they were all complicit. They were all complicit in this cover-up, and I hope that we will find some honest officials, some honest judges, and some honest members of the media who will stop this crime of the century. What Barack
Supreme Court.
I have my doubts. They know what's going on. Most people know what's going on.
Didn't Alito agree to hear a case?
Not Alito. I talked to Antonin Scalia. I talked to him, and he said, "Bring it, we'll hear it." But I brought this case time and again, and they did not hear it on the merits. There is a lot of corruption, unfortunately, in the government. We have 200 or 300 families of billionaires, of U.S. oligarchy, that's pulling the strings of all of our governmental officials, our bureaucrats, our congressmen, and high-position judges, and they are giving the marching orders.
Is there any case that can make it to the Supreme Court?
Well, the whole point is that we don't need the Supreme Court. What we need is one honest judge in one state to get the ball rolling. As I stated, I have the case in Mississippi, I have the case in Indiana. I also have 2 cases in Washington, D.C., where the U.S. government defaulted twice already, and that's a case against the Commission of Social Security in regards to my Freedom of Information request for Obama's application for their Social Security, because according to E-Verify, our fraud in chief is using a Social Security number that was never assigned to him. Based on his papers, he wouldn't be eligible to pick tomatoes and clean toilets, and this man is sitting in the White House. That's the level of corruption that we reached. This is spitting in the face of each and every American citizen, and I hope that this will end soon. I hope we will find one honest judge who will rule on the merits and will stop him.
Which judges in which cases could help?
It's hard to tell. We'll have to wait and see. As I stated, we have a case in Indiana. The judge who is assigned to the case is Judge Reed. Prior judge resigned. We have a new judge in Mississippi. Prior judge resigned, and the case is kind of in limbo. We're not quite sure whether it's going to be in federal court or state court. It's hard to tell. We have to just continue pounding and do the best we can, and hopefully justice will prevail. I believe that if we don't prevail and Barack Obama will continue using a forged birth certificate, forged selective service certificate, a stolen Social Security number, and continue sitting in the White House for 4 more years, it's the end of rule of law as we know it. And I hope that's not going to happen. Thank you. Oh, and